Hi, everyone. Michael Didier here. Thank you for joining me. We're going to call our lesson today, Torah is not sequential. We debated between Torah is not chronological or sequential. I decided on sequential, but I think it could easily go both ways. So if you don't understand the sequential word, you'll understand the chronological word. Torah is not in order. Things are going back and forth and back and forth. And today, because we're talking about chapter 7, the dedication of the altar, there's a lot of repetition. And so we're talking about the dedication of the altar in number 7 of all things. And maybe that doesn't mean much to you right now, but it will. I think you're going to be surprised to see how things are happening and how it goes back and forth. And why? We have to ask ourselves, why does it go back and forth? Why isn't it sequential? Seems like it would be pretty easy. I want to show you what it says in Yasher. If you haven't read Yasher, right now I'm going to encourage you to get it. Let me do this. I want to go to my blog, and I already put this up here. Oh, I guess I moved it. Let me go here. Whoops. I guess I got to do JASH. Come up. Yeah, it does. Here it is. All right, here's the book of Yasher. You'll find it under Getting Started. Here's the book of Yasher, and here's what it looks like. In it, you will find the Yasher with index with my notes on it that you can download right from what's the name of that place? Dropbox. Yeah, you can download it right from Dropbox with all my notes. I encourage you to get the one with the notes. Then get the one without the notes and do your own. You will be amazed at how much you will learn if you will just apply yourself to understanding and relating Torah with Yasher. I did it again today. I mean, looking at this dedication of the altar and finding out where the dedication of the altar actually happens in time. Yet it's way back here in Numbers 7, or maybe I should say way up here in number 7. We're going to go to Yasher right now. And I want you to see the correct events and how they fit together. I think you're going to find this extremely interesting. Here's Yasher. And we're going to start in chapter 38. There it is. All right. Oh, chapter's 83, not 38. This is talking about something that happened in Exodus, though Exodus doesn't even mention it. Let me explain. Here it says, and in the 12th month, in the 23rd day of the month, Moses took Aaron and his sons and dressed them in their garments and anointed them and did unto them as Yehovah had commanded him. And Moses brought up the offerings of Yehovah on that day. So they were in their tent. The tabernacle of meeting, that says here in Yasher, you gotta understand, Moses afterwards took Aaron and his sons and said to them, for 7 days you shall remain at the door of the tabernacle. There was no tabernacle yet. It's not going to be put up for another 8 days. For thus I am commanded. And Aaron and his sons did all that Yehovah commanded them through Moses. And they remained for the 7 days at the door of the tabernacle. The door of the tabernacle. They said it twice. But here is what it actually says in Torah. Second paragraph. Then Yehovah spoke to Moses, saying, on the first day of the... Oh, no, I take it back. I got to go back even further than that. 7 days at the... Here, let me open my note. The court and the tabernacle were not set up until the first day of the first month, which was of the second year, which is when they began to minister before Yehovah. Now, here's the verse I was reading. This is Exodus 40, 1 and 2. It says, then Yehovah spoke to Moses, saying, on the first day of the first month, you shall set up the tabernacle of meeting. There it is, the tabernacle of meeting. That really didn't help you to understand what my point was. We're going to get to that in a second. Let me just continue reading, okay? I'm sorry. So, 12th month, first year, 23rd day, the Levites were anointed by Moses and told to remain. They offered some sacrifices at that time, and then remained at the door of the tent of meetings. There was no tabernacle yet. It was just a tent of meeting. It was outside the camp. That's what I put. It was located outside the camp for 7 days. And then on the 8th day is when we're going to set up the tabernacle. So, here, on the 8th day, being the first day of the first month in the second year from the Israelites' departure from Egypt, Moses erected the sanctuary, the tabernacle. Moses put all the furniture of the tabernacle, the Mishkan, and all the furniture of the sanctuary, and he did all that Yehovah commanded. Now, on this very same day, we're going to see, it's not listed in here, but they're going to do a ceremony. I believe it is in, I'm not going to guess, Leviticus or Numbers. We're going to get to it. They're going to have a ceremony where Yehovah is going to come and inhabit the tabernacle on this day. And it was after they did this that Nadab and Abihu took it on themselves to offer strange fire before Yehovah. They went into the Holy of Holies without a reason to do it. And he struck them dead. You know what? Maybe they didn't even make it in there. Maybe they died before they even got in there. Regardless. So now what's the next thing that happens? We're going to dedicate the altar. Well, isn't that so interesting? Because that's what we're going to talk about today. The dedication of the altar in Numbers 7. For heaven's sakes, what is going on? Why are we jumping back and forth? Why doesn't Torah put it in chronological order? I'll tell you what. Is it done on purpose so that those of us who want to know seek it out and find out for themselves? I wonder. So here is the dedication of the altar done by the princes. That's what we're going to talk about today. It's going to say leaders. I think princes is probably a better translation. The princes of Israel's seed. So for 12 days, this is the first day, first month, second year. They're going to do it for 12 days. They're going to do it from day 1 through day 12. Again, sequence of events. Watch what happens. So here's what they're going to bring. We're going to talk about this today. I'm not going to go through that. It says, and it was after this, on the 13th day of the month. What happens on the 13th day of the first month, you guys? That Moses commanded Israel's seed to observe the Passover. This was our Passover. And this Passover in Torah is not mentioned until Numbers 9. We're not even there yet. So we kept the Passover. Now, finally, verse 17, it says, and in the second month, on the first day thereof, Yehovah spoke unto Moses, saying, number the heads of all the males of Israel, 20 years old and upward, those who are able to go to war, is what Torah said. Thou and Aaron and the 12 princes of Israel. So they are the ones who are going to do the numbering. But, so Israel's numbered. How many do we have? 603,550. That's Numbers 1. That we're going to talk about that. Now, in Numbers 3, for the first time, it says, but the children of Levi, Levi's seed, were not numbered among the brethren of Israel's seed. We numbered all the tribes, 12 tribes. Remember, there's 13 tribes because Joseph left and we got Manasseh and Ephraim. Levi wasn't numbered. Then it says, and the numbers of all the males, the firstborn, is the word we're looking for there. It doesn't say it. Again, you got to go back and forth between the two. Here's what it says. And all the firstborn males, according to the number of the names from 1 month old and above, of all those who were numbered of them who were 22,273. And that's what it says, 22,273. Now, we numbered them in Torah and found it was 22,300. They missed it. So, now it says, the number of Levi's seed from 1 month old and above was 22,000. Levi's seed is about to be set apart to the priests. Remember, they're actually, we're going to see it today or next week, maybe. Today or next week, probably next week now that I think about it. We're going to see that the priests were given to the Levites by Israel's seed to serve the Levites and provide the workforce that the priests need, the sons of Aaron need. Isn't it interesting that they kept the Passover and they didn't use any priests, yet they did have the tabernacle? That should make a few people think twice. Now, this was Leviticus, what did I say? Leviticus 3. that the Levites were finally separated. And then we go on to 12th day of the month, the cloud was taken away, and the children of Israel were journeying. 12th day of what month? It's 12th day of the second month, because we're in the second month right here. That Israel's seed was numbered. Where is it? Second month, first day, second year. We left in the second month, right after, really, the last day of the feast of Passover, unleavened bread. The last day of the feast of unleavened bread, a holy day, is when the cloud decided to pick up and move. Well, we're going to get to that today also. So now, with this in mind, remember we're talking about 12th day. I'm sorry, 12th month, 23rd day of the month. Now, interesting enough, that is not mentioned in Torah. So we're going to start in Torah, Exodus. I think I can go here. Should take me to where I want to go. Oh, maybe not. There it is. Exodus 40. It says, on the first day of the first month, you shall set up the tabernacle, the Mishkan. Then it says the tent of meeting. They're one and the same. The tent of meeting was the tent that was outside the camp where Moses and Joshua actually met with Yehovah. Now, the tent of meeting is where Moses is going to meet with Yehovah. And we're going to see that today also. You know, I talked about it last week. Where did Moses go when he went to speak to Yehovah? I speculated that because he wasn't a priest, a son of Aaron, that he wasn't allowed in the tabernacle, the Mishkan, in the holy place. But I have decided that he did go into the holy place, and I'll show you that. Hopefully I'll remember to show it where it is today. I think it might even be in our lesson for number 7. We're going to see. So here we are. First day of the first month, you shall set up the tabernacle, the tent of meeting. So it's being set up, but it doesn't say anything about it being the 8th day of the month. Now here in Yashar, we just read it. It was the 12th month, and in the 12th month, in the 23rd day of the month, Moses took Aaron. He went through that. Then it says on the 8th day of the first month, the 8th day being the first day of the first month. There it is. The 8th day is the first day of the first month. That means that it had to happen on the 23rd day of the 12th month. And if you look at this verse here in Exodus 29, following the instructions which Yehovah gave, it comes together when we understand this. Thus you shall do to Aaron and his sons, according to all that I have commanded you. 7 days you shall consecrate them. It was the 8th day that they were all set to go and did all the things that they needed to do on that day. Now, if we go to Leviticus, I went through this morning. Think about this. Leviticus. Wouldn't you think that would have something to do with the Levites? Yet, do you know that the Levites are not mentioned one time in Leviticus that I could find this morning? I guess I could have done a search to see if it was there, but I'm guessing it wasn't there because they weren't numbered to be set apart to Yehovah until Numbers 3. Ha! All the things that we talk about in Leviticus have to do with the priests, the sons of Aaron, who were Levites. I mean, you got that. But oftentimes we're talking about the priests and the Levites. We looked at a definition this morning. Here, I probably still have it open. Here, Leviticus. A canonical book of the Old Testament containing the laws and the regulations which relate to the priests and the Levites. Wrong. It relates to the priests. It doesn't relate to the Levites. The Levites are going to eventually be given to the priests to help them among the Jews. Oh my God. No, among Israel's seed is what it should say. See, we read these things and we get these false ideas, false narratives into our minds that are just not right. So, here we are, Leviticus. First chapter, we're talking about burnt offerings. Follow me on the right. Next chapter, we're talking about Minka. Nope. Next chapter, I went to. Next chapter, we're talking about Minka. Grain offerings, wine offerings. Then we did the shalamim. We call them the peace offerings, but it's a slaughtered shalamim, something that we're going to eat, like the Passover lamb. Then we did why is it going to? No, it didn't. There's kata'ah. It's a sin offering. Then we had the Hashem. Come on, baby. There it is. And that was continued to 7 or 6. No, 7. More about the Hashem. Then we had...
Michael?
Yes.
Your blog is over the pages.
My blog is over the pages.
Yeah, I can't see what the numbers, the scriptures you're talking about.
My blog. You're saying my website?
Yeah.
Oh. It's got to be on your end. I bet it's not on V's end.
Okay, thank you.
Because there's nothing blocking this here. V, can you see it?
I can see the scripture, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, where it says priest consecrated, Leviticus 8.
Yes.
Right here. Yeah. So, Wayne, I think it's you. You might refresh your screen. So, here we are, priests. Not Levites, we're talking about priests. Then, look at this. It came to pass on the 8th day. On the 8th day. Now, a reader who doesn't know Torah is going to think that's the 8th day of the first month. Am I right? But it's not. It's the 8th day from the 23rd day of the 12th month, which is the first day of the first month of the second year. Look what's going to happen here. This is the day, if I got this right, the service in which Yehovah will appear. First day, first month, second year, the 8th day after the priests were sanctified. But the Torah doesn't say anything about the priests being sanctified from the 23rd day of the 12th month until the first day of the first month of the second year. Again, got to get the big picture. I called this about something about the 40,000 view today, teaser that I sent out. So here is first day, first month, second year. This is the new meeting tent. This is the Mishkan going up, where now Yehovah is going to meet with Moses is going to meet with Yehovah here. Okay. Still no Levites. Then, look at this. They have Nadab and Abihu. When did they die? We already saw it in Torah or in Yashar that they died right after in fact, this is sequential because it was right after the service in which Yehovah appears. Pillar of fire and smoke. That Nadab and Abihu took strange fire and died. That was in the correct order. But think about this. All this stuff about what the priests do, the Olah, the Minka, the Shalamim, the Kata'ah, the Hashem, all those instructions, did they take place before Exodus 40? I think they did. I think it's the only place that they could have done it because you can't do that all in one day. This is a big day. We brought up the sanctuary. We had a service in which Yehovah appears. And the kids died on this day. Oh, and we did the first day of the dedication of the altar on this day as well. You see how some of these things fit together? When were all those instructions that we saw at the beginning of Leviticus? And throughout Leviticus, when were they given? And why doesn't it have anything to do with Levites? Well, let's continue. 11. Talking about clean and unclean food. Dead things also. Simply instructions for Israel's seed. It has nothing to do with Levites. 12. Women after childbirth. What does she do? How many days does she have to remain set apart if she has a man, a boy, a male versus a female? Law of leprosy. Cleansing of the leper. You know, did all this happen before the tabernacle was even set up? I think it probably did. 15, human emissions. The Zav and the Zuv. Normal emissions and abnormal emissions. Then we had the Day of Covering. We're doing the Day of Covering. Were the Levites involved in the Day of Covering? No. The priests were involved in the Day of Covering. Statutes regarding the killing of animals. This is the reason I don't generally eat meat that I don't slaughter. And when I started to see all the things that was going into meat and what they're doing to our meat these days, it made me think that Yehovah has a plan. Do we honor the animal that we eat if we are the ones that are slaughtering it for ourselves? Most people don't even know that a hamburger comes from a cow. Maybe a pig, maybe a person, depending on where you get your hamburger. Oh, that's going to come out too. You wait. Wait till you see what McDonald's has been serving you. You think those chicken McNuggets are good? Have you heard about the teeth that have been found in the chicken McNuggets? All right, let's continue. Sexual prohibitions. Who can a man take to himself? Who can't a man take to himself? Then we talked about miscellaneous instructions. One that I think is particularly interesting is this one right here, Leviticus 19:18. You shall not take vengeance nor bear a grudge against your people. Who's you? You is Israel's seed, not the one who believes in Jesus. No, Israel's seed are the Ezra men who became Ezra men, Yehovah's firstborn at Passover. Remember what he said to, or what Moses said to, or what Yehovah told Moses to say to Pharaoh? Tell him, let my son, my firstborn go. Let my firstborn, Israel, go, that he may serve me. Israel are the Ezra men, Yehovah's firstborn, that happens at Passover. And it was not until they kept Passover that they got to go. But look what it says, the rest of this verse. It says, thou, he's talking to each man individual, or you could say he's talking to all the Ezra men. Remember, there are no plurals for Ezra men. They are all Yehovah's son. Thou shall love, here it is right here, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Who is Israel's neighbor? We were just talking about thy brother. Here it is. You shall not hate your brother in your heart. You shall surely rebuke your neighbor. Who's the neighbor? The Ger, the one who dwells with Israel, the Ezra men, are the neighbor. Here it is here. The stranger. Here it is. The Ger. Here he is right here, the Ger. Oh, it's a little too low for you to see it. Let me just, I don't want to, see if I can do it without moving it. There. Whoops. There. Oh, come on, Michael. Ger. Oh, come on. Boy, I do a lot to help you guys understand these things. There it is. Well, that's the Ben. Seed. Oh, I'm in the wrong verse. Here we are here. The Ger. Here he is. The Ger. The Ger. The Ger. As one born in the land, the Ger shall dwell among you, shall be to you as an Ezra. One born in the land is the Ezra. There it is right there, the Ezra, Israel's seed. And you shall love him as yourself. Can it be any more conclusive? All right, moving on. We're talking about consecrating ourselves, not committing adultery. They did a lot of the same things that they talked about in Leviticus 18, incest, sodomy, bestiality, putting wizards to death, becoming holy to Yehovah. But he's not talking to the Christians. He's talking to Israel's seed. Remember, you become a ger when you leave the kingdom of your birth and join yourself to Yehovah's people. You start keeping his statutes and judgments and ordinances. At Passover, you circumcise yourself, and all the men of your household eat the Passover lamb and become as one born in the land, an Ezra man. No Levites here either. Now it's talking about concerning priests, corpse, acceptable women that they can marry, physical criteria, disqualifications, all about priests. Unclean priests. The feast of Yehovah has to do with Israel's seed. Yes, the Levites are part of Israel's seed, but they haven't been set apart to Yehovah yet. 24. Holy place policies. This is all about the priests, the lamps, the showbread, and blasphemy of Yehovah. The blasphemer shall be put to death. Then we have the Sabbath year and the Jubilee year. I want you to see these things, how they fit together, the blessings and the curses. And then this crazy chapter, I think it was added to get people's stuff. Makes no sense at all. I'm not even going to talk about it. You can listen to my teaching on it if you want to hear about it. Now here's Numbers. Finally, we're to Numbers. Finally, we're to the first day of the second month of the second year. $603,550. Now they're giving their camping instructions and their marching instructions. Finally, we're going to talk about the Levites. It says the Levites are chosen instead of Israel's seed's firstborn. Levites, camping positions, and tabernacle duties. This is all about the Levites, because now they finally are being separated. Not yet separated, not yet consecrated, but that's coming. Next, Numbers 4. This is their carrying duties, tearing down the tabernacle and setting up the tabernacle. Then we had law of jealousy. All this is in here. This is just for Israel's seed. Not specific to the Levites, not specific to the priests. Law of jealousy. Although the priests are involved in doing that too, aren't they? Last week we talked about the Nazirite vow and the Aaronic prayer. Aaronic. It's the priest's prayer because they're the sons of Aaron. Not talking about the Levites, is it? Today, we're going to talk about the dedication. It says, now it came to pass when Moses had finished setting up the tabernacle. When did he finish setting up the tabernacle? Was it after the second month of the second year? Or was it the first day of the first month of the second year? It was the latter. The dedication happens on the first day of the first month of the second year. But now, look at what it says. Here's 8. It says the Levites are cleansed and given to Aaron and his seed to aid them in their service to Yehovah. Makes me wonder where we get this idea that the Levites are teaching the people Yehovah's ways. Where does that come from? Does that come from the Khazarians? I don't know. You maybe even don't even know what I mean by Khazarians. Those are the ones who are worshiping Satan right now. They call themselves Zionists. Mostly they call themselves Jews. And that's what people can confuse Jew for Israel. Like that commentary we just looked at. What was that? The definition of Leviticus, which related to the priests and the Levites among the Jews. No, among Israel's seed. We've got to choose our words purposefully, or we're going to confuse people. This is why I never refer to God, to God as God. I refer to God as Elohim. Elohim. That's what it says, Elohim. Lawmaker and a judge. Well, I know we're going off on a little bit of a tangent today, but I've got one more chapter to look at. Look at this next one. This is Numbers 9. And this is talking about the Passover, the very first Passover that we did. First month, there it is. First month, second year. This is Numbers 9. And we're talking about the Passover. Then we're going to talk about people who were unclean for the Passover in this chapter and did a second Passover. Well, let's go to 7. This is going to be fairly quick. Look at the first verse. Now it came to pass when Moses had finished setting up the tabernacle that he anointed it and consecrated it and all its furnishings and the altar and all its utensils. So he anointed them and consecrated them. But look at the next verse. It says, the leaders of Israel, the heads of their fathers' houses, who were the leaders of the tribes, and over those who were numbered, made an offering. Which is fine. But is this happening in the first month or the second month? Obviously, the first verse is the first month. I'm going to argue that this is happening in the second month because of what they're going to do with these carts. Look what it says. By the way, Israel's princes. Here's the word that they translated as leaders. I think that leaders is something that they want to put it into more of English understanding, but we're talking about princes of Israel. These are leaders of each of the tribes, the head person. Next verse, verse 3. And they brought their korban, they use offering. Always look up offering. Sometimes it's bring, sometimes it's korban. Look it up, see what it says before Yehovah. Remember, this is about a korban. It's all about drawing near to Yehovah. What did they bring? 6 carts, 12 oxen, a cart for every 2 leaders, princes, and for each of the 12, they brought an ox. And they presented them before the tabernacle. What are they going to do with these oxes and wagons? Then Yehovah spoke to Moses, saying, accept these from them, that they may be used in doing the work of the tent of meeting. And you shall give them to the Levites. Now, think about it. This can't be the first month of the first year, which the rest of this chapter is going to be, because the Levites aren't selected until chapter 3, the second month of the second year. He says, you shall give them to the Levites, to every man according to his service. So Moses took the carts and the oxen and gave them to the Levites. 2 carts, 4 oxen he gave to the sons of Gershom. Remember, we saw that the sons of Gershom were handling all the cloth goods. The cloth that goes around the court of meetings, the cloth that was used for the covering of the tabernacle, and the main covering of the tabernacle itself, the one that was nicely what's the word I want to use? Needle pointed, I guess is maybe a word to use. And then they gave the other ones 4 carts and 8 oxen to the sons of Merari. The sons of Merari were all the ones who were handling I called it the software and the hardware. The sons of Gershom handled the software, the cloth. the sons of Merari handled the boards and all the stakes and all the poles and posts and all the things that had to be done. Heavy stuff. They had the heavy stuff, but they got more carts to handle those things. It says, but the sons of Kohath, he gave none. Why? Because theirs was the service of the holy things, the Kodesh things. The Kodesh is really what it says. The Kodesh, the things is added, but it's the Kodesh things which they carried on their shoulders. The princes offered. It says, now the princes offered the dedication for the altar when it was anointed. So it was anointed that day by Moses. Yeah, probably by the priests. Maybe it was by Moses. I think it might have been by Moses. Although, he says he set up the tabernacle too. So obviously other people set up the tabernacle, not just him. The princes offered the dedication offering for the altar when it was anointed. So the princes offered their offerings before Yehovah. What is the word they use there? Probably brought their offerings. I guess I don't have it in there. But here, let's just read this now from Yasher, and then we'll compare it with what it says here. It says, then on the day when Moses had completed to erect the sanctuary, first day, first month, second year, the princes of Israel's seed began to bring their offerings before Yehovah for the dedication of the altar. And they brought up their offerings, each prince, for one day. Remember, 12 princes, 12 days. Day 1 through day 12. A prince each day for 12 days. And all the offerings, whoops, what do I do here? Go back here. What do I do? Here we go. And all the offerings, right here, which they brought, each man in his day, one silver charger. They put silver charger. In here, it's going to say silver platter. Is the only difference that I found. Silver charger weighing 130 shekels. One silver bowl of 70 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary. Both of them full of fine flour mingled with oil for a mincha offering. One spoon. Oh, that was a change too. That was actually, I forget what it is. We're going to find out. One spoon weighing 10 shekels of gold full of incense, weighing, what did it say? One spoon. 10 shekels. Here it is. Gold pan. You're not going to get 10 shekels of silver on a spoon. You're going to have to put it in a pan. That was a gold pan. Weighing 10 shekels of silver, full of incense. Oh, they're not carrying shekels, they're carrying incense. But still, you're not going to have a spoonful of incense. You're going to have much more incense than that. One young bullock, that is an ox. One ram, that's a male sheep, an older one. One lamb of the first year, a younger one, for a burnt offering. They're all for burnt offerings. The bullock, the ram, the lamb are all for burnt offerings. One kid of the goats for a sin offering. And for a slaughtered shalomim, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 goats, 5 lambs of the first year. This is what they're going to celebrate. This is where they're going to eat today. This is what Israel's seed is going to eat today. 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 goats, 5 lambs. Bon appetit. This did the 12 princes of Israel day by day, each day. Okay, we'll stop there. Let me read this now. That was on my note for 10. So here's my note for, let me make sure I got it all. Yeah. Verse 11. For Yehovah said to Moses, they shall bring, see, that's where it says offered. You got to look it up. What the word is karav. Bring near, approach. Their korban, their offering. There it is, their korban. They shall bring their korban before the altar. I guess it's the same notes pretty much as we just read before the altar. And the one who brings his offering, Numbers 5, names of the, what is that doing there? We don't need that there. The one who brings his offering, remember it's going to be each tribe of Israel. The one who brought his offering on the first day was Nahshon, the son of Amminadab, from the tribe of Judah. So we're going to do his offering and then understand that all the other ones are bringing exactly the same offering in the very next day and the next day after that and the next day after that. Here's what Amminadab, or what Nahshon brought. His offering was 1 silver platter, the weight of 130 shekels. 1 silver bowl, 70 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mixed with a grain offering, a minka. 1 gold pan of 10 shekels in weight, full of incense. 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 male lamb. Remember, the ram is a sheep. The lamb, of course, is a sheep of the first year. The first one is kind of the dominant ram. It's an older ram that is used for impregnating all the female lambs. And 1 male lamb of the first year as a burnt offering. The bull, the ram, the lamb of the first year are all burnt offerings. They're all going to be burned up. They don't make it clear because they say 1 male lamb in the first year as a burnt offering. You have to understand that we're talking about all of these things are going to be used for burnt offerings. Then it says 1 kid of goats as a kata'ah. As a kata'ah. Offering is, when it says burnt offering, it simply says olah. That says olah. This is simply added words. I always think of them as religious words that are being added on. As a kata'ah, as a sin. I mean, offering, you can understand it that way, but it doesn't say that. Then it says a slaughter, and for a slaughter of shalamim, what are we going to bring? 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, 5 male lambs of the first year. This was the offering of Nahshon, the son of Amminadab. So then we did the second day, and it was Issachar. Then we did the third day, Zebulun. Fourth day, Reuben. Fifth day. They're all exactly the same thing that the first one that Judah brought. Simeon, Gad, Ephraim, Manasseh, Benjamin, Dan, Asher, and Naphtali. Notice, no Levites. Why? Because they have been separated now from Israel's seed to serve the priests. Didn't bring an offering. Not a part of Israel's seed. They're serving Israel's seed in a sense. So finally, the wrap up. This was the dedication offering for the altar from the princes of Israel when it was anointed, when the altar was anointed. Here's what they brought altogether: 12 silver platters, 12 silver bowls, 12 gold pans full of incense. Each silver platter weighed 130 shekels, and each bowl 70 shekels. All the silver of the vessels, 2,400 shekels, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. 12 gold pans. Oh, there's the 12 gold pans of incense. Sorry. Weighing 10 shekels apiece, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. All the gold pans weighed 120 shekels. There's a lot of money involved here. I didn't figure it out, but we could figure it out. And it would be a lot of money, especially in today's age. All the oxen for the burnt offering were 12 young bulls. Interesting, they were bulls, young bulls. Is that what they said before? I don't remember that saying 12 young bulls. That does say one young bull. Okay. 12 young bulls. Where were we? All the oxen for the Olah offering were 12 young bulls. The rams, 12. These are all for the burnt offering. See, this is where you understand it. They were talking about it, and it looked like the lamb of the first year was for the burnt offering. But here it says the oxen for the burnt offering. I almost think that it should say, instead of oxen, it would make more sense to say behemah for the Olah were 12 young bulls. That would make more sense to me. To say oxen, 12 young bulls, it doesn't flow the way it should. I almost feel like there's a mistake there, because these are all behemah. Rams, 12. The male lambs of the first year, 12, with their grain offering, with their grain, with their minka. And the kid of the goats as a sin offering, 12. And all the oxen for the slaughtered shalomim were 24 bulls. Rams, 60. Male goats, 60. The lamb of the first year, 60. This was the dedication for the altar after it was anointed. When? On the first day of the first month of the second year. Now Moses went into the tabernacle of meeting to speak with him. Here's what I was saying today. Remember, I said, where did Moses meet with Yehovah? Did he do it outside the tabernacle? Because we always talk about being before Yehovah's face. Israel's seed, we're going to slaughter our offering before Israel's face. But here it says, now Moses went into the tent of meeting. Makes sense. He's going to meet with Yehovah. It's the new meeting place to speak with him. He heard the voice of one speaking to him from above the mercy seat that was on the ark of the testimony, from between the two cherubim. Thus he spoke to him. Moses was, in fact, allowed to come into the holy place to meet with Yehovah. Well, I hope you found this interesting. You know what? Please, 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 if you're listening to me on YouTube or Rumble, give me a like, give me a thumbs up, give me an affirmative, whatever it is on each of those platforms, and it'll help me a little bit to. We might get more people to listen. We'll see. There's very few right now. You know, a lot of people are set in their ways. They're not interested in listening yet. But when they find out what's been going on in the Catholic Church, when they find out that it literally is the synagogue of Satan, when they find out what has been going on with the ninth circle sacrifices that have been going on underneath there, and that they were the ones who put together the New Testament, created Yeshua in the 4th century to be the modern day golden calf to keep you from seeing Yehovah's ways, his eternal and unchanging ways, and to turn you away from them so that you follow this golden calf instead of Yehovah. I'm talking to men, I'm not talking to ladies. Ladies, you follow your man. But men, you're supposed to follow Yehovah. Well, it's going to become easier to follow Yehovah in coming days. I'm going to leave it there. You guys, thank you for joining me. Next week, we're going to talk about, as I said already, come on, just push the button. There it is. The Levites being cleansed and given to Aaron and his seed to aid them in their service to Yehovah. That's what we're going to talk about next week. I think you'll find it interesting. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helps you understand. It's not sequential. Torah is not sequential. It jumps all over the place. Yeah, sure. A little more sequential. Not Torah. All right, you guys, thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.